What's up, everybody? You're listening to High Tea with Mel, Kelly, K. If you're down for some unapologetic and unfiltered discussions from melanated perspectives, let's get this chat steeped and brewed in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Y'all, happy period-free Sunday. Start by saying that. Thank you, Jesus. There is nothing like the first weekend off after having your period. You feel like a whole new woman. Like, yes, I could do things. I ain't gotta wake up scared. I gotta wake up scared or uncomfortable,
right?
Or just alarmed. Like all the period symptoms, y'all.
I don't think people understand how annoying it is to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom while you have your period. And you're already so exhausted.
Yes.
From all the energy literally being sucked out of you.
Mm-hmm. Right. And this may be too TMI, but we don't care because it's just you get up. Now you have to see if you deal with the leakage. Then you have to make the energy to deal with that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much. Between sorry for our male listeners. We know you're out there. We appreciate you for sticking with us. But I just had to say it because I was just like, yo, I am not about this life. If there was a way to get rid of her until I needed her, that would be fabulous.
Listen, if we have male listeners, this is your awareness to be a little bit more aware. And give some empathy towards them while we're on our periods, because this shit is hard.
Y'all, we're almost 30, and I still feel like a teenager sometimes. Randomly insecure, and you dealing with your body doesn't your body when you get your period, especially as you get older, it does not stop adapting. So that bitch surprises you every fucking month. Mm-hmm. And she get a different plot plan for you. She is here for the suspenseful moments, and she's about the dramatics.
Me and according to my boyfriend, I get really super emotional while I'm on my period.
Yes,
and it's not emotional in I have mood swings. It's emotional as in I'm
teary.
10. No. I'm 10 times as affectionate, and I just want to be all over him. And I'm just well,
that sounds like a good thing for you, bro.
I can't help myself. Oh no, he takes it all in.
Yeah,
he takes it all in. He takes it all in. He was because when it's over, you're gonna go back to being a cold heart. You're gonna be being cold-hearted again. And just give me attention on your terms.
Yeah,
and I was well, I'm sorry.
As I've mentioned, I become an emotional sap now at this lovely age. I am an emotional sap. When I first got my period, I was a gangster. I was I didn't care about nothing. I didn't feel nothing. I don't want to talk about it. Fuck her. And now I'm this bitch got me over here crying. She's so rude.
Oh, man.
So I can give y'all all the symptoms that I deal with during mine. But at the end of the day, men, count your blessings. That you ain't got to deal with this shit on a monthly basis. You just have to deal with a prostate exam every couple of years. You be all right.
And don't be mean to us, because we're already mean to ourselves during that time. We're bloated. We're constantly hungry and craving random things.
Migraines.
Right.
Cramps.
Your body hurts.
Soreness.
You got to make sure you have an arsenal of pads, tampons, or a clean cup if you use a cup. All that stuff like that.
Your boobs get big.
Do you know how much heavier your bag gets when you're on your period?
It's hard out here, B. I feel like a pregnant 6 to 8 month woman, when I'm on my period. I'll be yo, what the fuck?
My clothes don't fit me the same, so I just opt for, stretchy material stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's some wild shit out here. Mm-mm.
But when that period bloat is gone, I feel like a bad bitch after, though.
Bad motherfucking bitch. Okay? Ready to go. Sorry. But yeah, our male listeners, take this as a PSA. If you are interested in women and you want to have a future with a woman, this is the shit you're going to have to deal with.
Listen to women.
Be semi-empathetic. Next time you get an internal pain, think about having that pain for 7 days out of the month. Mm-hmm. And then think about on top of that pain, you get little electric spikes of that pain randomly the week before and the week after. So literally you get 1 week of peace a month where your body is not actively fighting you.
Mm-hmm.
But we got, you know.
And that is our public service announcement from the High Tea Podcast.
MKK approved.
Thank you for being my girls. Thank you, because I don't know who else would do this journey with my weird ass.
It's okay. We're just a bunch of weirdos here.
And I love y'all so
We're all
much.
weird. We're all weird on our own plight.
Yep.
Yes, that is 100% true. Well, speaking of Plythe, we're gonna have some. We gotta talk today, okay? We get towards the end of the season, and I just want to talk about this, and I want to start this by also saying this is no attacking, this is no extreme bias. This is just a particular topic that I wanted to talk about with my best friends, who happen to also be Black. Okay. So we could talk about this, and if this is not a safe space for you as a listener, please go ahead and move forward to when we go to our next topic. Okay. Cool. So I wanted to talk about issues that we see within the Black community, and it's more so like how we feel the Black community could do better. It is not saying that we are bad people. We are all amazing people. Those of us who live life to be good people. Keep doing your thing. But all of us have faults. Sorry. That's all I got. So, I wanted to ask you ladies, I have these moments. I feel like y'all do too. So I just gonna ask this question.
Oh God.
What are some scenarios that you can remember where you're like, that like you just feel internally, or you even say it out loud, you're like, God damn it, Black people, what the fuck?
Oh gosh. Let's see.
I can
You know
start if
what?
y'all want. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I have something, and I just got to say it because I know it can be taken the wrong way, but it's got to be said. This whole thing about Black on Black crime, I hate saying that term, but it has got to be said, and I'm not offending anybody. I'm just being very straightforward. This is nothing against my own people, but I am all about accountability. And I know this whole topic of police brutality and the white man is after the Black man. And at the same time, I don't understand how we can, as a community, not everybody in the community, but just some people, they want to go out into the streets and protest and march and have something to say when it comes to all these Black police brutality crimes that have happened, especially in the past 3 years. And you can go out and fight for that. But at the same time, you have our people still sitting at home come daylight to in the dark depths of the night, committing crimes against each other. And it's very disheartening to see that on a regular basis on the news, the local news, everything. And we can do better than that, because at the same time, we have to take accountability for our own actions. And to be blaming that, and I'm going to put it into another thing that I had also, which is this victim mentality. And I feel like a lot of our people want to put the blame on other people and not take accountability for what they have caused or what they have not grown as a person and as a people in our community. And for you not to take that responsibility, you were only just putting us back further. And if you want to get the respect, you have to give the respect back. And I know it's very difficult nowadays. And a lot of that has to deal with how our people are not holding themselves to that standard. I'm in no way saying that I'm better than the next person or the three of us here are better than the next person. We have our own faults, but at the same time, we just think ahead in our own actions and what they can cause. And I just feel as though you want these reparations, you want our people to be successful and have this and have that, but you're not giving out and putting out that same energy that you want to get back. And that's where that whole narrative gets just blown to the wayside. And I don't want to see our people killing each other for the stupidest, pettiest stuff. Like, it's just dumb. And I hate the police brutality, what's going on. That definitely needs to be handled. But also on the same point to that is the issue that's going on with us against us. It's got to stop. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Because no one's denying that police brutality does exist, but the problem
no one with the right mind.
Right. And it's just like, yes, the police brutality does exist, but what also exists in an even more abundance is the brutality against each other. And that's the part that's not being fixed. We're protesting against a whole department, a whole conglomerate that's supposed to protect us. And yes, they do protect us. They do a good job to protect us, because it's not like we're calling your uncle to protect you if somebody breaks into your house. Who you calling the police? So it's just like, you can't take away that system. And that's when it comes to like all these reforms that people are trying to like initiate reforms onto the police, like I don't agree with it, because the first person I'm calling is the cops. If someone breaks into my car, the first person I'm calling is the cops. If someone decks me in the face in the street, the first people I'm calling is the cops, because that institution is there to handle it. So when it comes to that, it's like, you can't talk about dismantle this whole entire franchise that's been set up to protect and serve the community. Even though there's a few bad apples in that bunch, we can't blame the whole. We can't blame the whole part. So it's like, we need to find more reasonable solutions in order to fix our issues within our communities, whether it's having more, like, how do I put this? Like having more community programs that teaches, I don't even know how to put this. Like, I have it in my head, but it's so hard to like put into words.
Well, I want to also clarify while you're thinking of that, and that's also the huge misconception when you talk about dismantle the police. It's not dismantle the police and we don't have police. It is take some of that outrageous budget that they get, just like our government likes to have an outrageous military budget for no fuck shit reason. Take some of that outrageous budget and allocate it to other services that are within the communities that need the most help.
Right.
So if we're thinking of dismantle police in that sense, then I am all for it. But for the people who are out there who actually believe like we want to dismantle police,
but that's the problem.
To have no police and abolish the police, that is false.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
All it's going to do is create the original purpose of why police were brought in the first place.
Right. That's what a lot of people think these police reforms are about. It's about dismantling police departments as a whole. So now you do that. Who responds to those violent emergencies? Like, who does it? Because fire doesn't do it. EMS doesn't do it. So who does it? So it's just like, if that's the case, then there's like neighborhoods that have like neighborhood watch communities and stuff like that. And you find those more in like richer suburban upper middle class neighborhoods.
Yeah, people
but you don't find them here because they have time to do that. So it's just like, okay, there's a lot of people who have time within our communities and in our neighborhoods. Yes, a lot of mothers, especially mothers, work really hard to provide for their families, because that's another issue in our community, is that we have a lot of broken homes. And unfortunately, the parental structure isn't set up in the best way, because you have mothers raising like 4 kids on their own, providing for each one of those kids and herself and the household, and trying to pay rent and keep food on the table. And if she got a car, God forbid that half that money has to go to car and gas for that car. So it's like, that structure also needs to be fixed in a way, because people think that the whole entire Black community is on a welfare struggle, but that single mother that has 2 jobs to raise 4 kids and herself doesn't get welfare because she has 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of women, and I actually know a lot of women who are like that, where they don't get any type of government assistance because of the fact that they have 2 jobs, and that 2 jobs is
required.
Is required because it needs to bring in the budget of that parent that isn't there.
I'm single and I'm about to get a second job. I mean, single in the sense of I'm not married, I don't have kids. Like, I got a man. He's looking at me. He's about to fight me. I have a man, but I am not married with kids. Like, and I want a second job because I need more money.
Yeah.
There's no people taking my money. But I feel like that struggle. So imagine being a single mother with 1 to X amount of kids. Don't even matter. After 1, it's too expensive anyways. So and then people be like, "Oh, well, you agreed to your pay." It wasn't really a choice.
Right.
I needed this job.
Like, I needed a job.
And the money was high.
Yeah.
At the time. But it's wild out here in these streets. Gas is like $4 or more. And it's crazy out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know some problems are just, unfortunately, the system is, in some instances, literally against us. So that is not to say that we are all blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Dumb people with time say. We ain't saying all that shit. Like, let's be very fucking clear. Because on the other hand, to Kelly's point, there is white on white crime. There's Asian on Asian crime. Like, every community has their own crime. But I ain't worried about them. I can't worry about them. I got my own shit to worry about.
But unfortunately, when it comes to those race on race crimes, unfortunately, we have the highest number. We have the highest number within the population of.
No, we get the highest reported crimes because the white on white crimes is high. They are the majority, and they murder in their own communities way more common than they murder outside. Of course,
that's going to happen because they have the largest population. But the problem is the fact that even though we have such a small population of people living within this country, and we're talking about this country and this country alone to make that perfectly clear. And it's like, even though we have, that's overseas problem. They can figure it out.
I don't know nothing about y'all shit. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we don't.
We got our own over here.
But the point I'm trying to get at is the fact that even though we have such a smaller percentage of people living in this country, it's like we still commit the largest amount of crimes on top of each other within that small percentage of people. Does that make sense? Our numbers of crime shouldn't be equal to the amount of crimes that a larger population commits.
But also to that, the way this system is set up, we are targeted more to be arrested and thrown in jail. So it's just like, it's a double-edged sword.
Because we look more threatening.
Yes.
And that's how our history
assume that we're threatening no matter what complexion or time of day or how you dress. Like, they assume that there's a crime afoot if you're doing something that they don't think is for you to be doing.
Yeah, and but
we get cops called, like the director from Black Panther.
Oh yes, that Bank of America
in Atlanta. That's the wildest part to me, that it was in Atlanta, and the people who called the cops on him were also black.
Listen, man, it's like you said, it's such a double-edged sword because of the fact that then you see all these boutique crimes that have been being committed where people are literally in and out robbing boutique, like swarm of people within like 3 minutes. And unfortunately, it's our people.
And I'm not okay with. Because I know so many small business owners, and that would break my heart if that happened to my friends.
Like, listen, even though they're like robbing like huge boutiques, like Gucci boutiques, like Balenciaga, all these different boutiques and stuff like that, it's still the fact that it's being done. Like, just recently, like 2 weeks ago, here in Long Island, out in Hampton, like 5 idiots decided they were going to drive from Newark, New Jersey into Southampton, and they were going to raid the Balenciaga boutique. So you're telling me that you made a 2.5 hour trip from Newark, New Jersey, all the way to Southampton.
Wow.
Just to rob Balenciaga.
To like say their that cameras don't look the same in New Jersey as they do in Long Island.
Right. Like they picked them up. Like, and it's been happening it's been happening countrywide. And it sucks. It shouldn't be happening, period. But it sucks even more that it's the people who look like us that are doing it. So you don't even get... So, like, as a whole, it makes the whole look terrible.
Yeah.
Even though there's more people who are not doing this than there is people doing it.
And, like, to go along with that, I just saw also that you heard the new way that people are taking gas out of other people's cars.
They're siphoning the car gas?
They're siphoning it, but they're also drilling holes in the bottom of your car to take gas out. So, and it's a lot of people of color, not just black people, but you have the Hispanics, you have other people of color. But it's like, stop doing that. Like, I get it, but at the same time, you're putting out that narrative as, quote unquote, black people are so poor or they don't have the money to go with the times and deal with the increases in gas or groceries or whatever the case may be. And it's that stuff that has just got to stop. I understand it's not easy, even when you have a job and you're content of what you are making. The surge ain't helping anybody. But to be doing that and going to that extreme of a level, that's not the way you go about it.
Don't punish my car. I get it. If you make it minimum wage, like federal minimum wage, and you need gas, I get it. Like, I'm not gonna call the cops or anybody if I see you siphoning gas. I would just like, yo, go the fuck away. Because the next option is me busting you upside your head with my purse.
Yeah. But even to that,
don't hurt my car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't afford it, but you think I could afford a new fucking gas tank?
Right.
Or just to patch that shit is like, that's it.
Yeah, no. Just to take that bitch to the mechanic is gonna at least cost me $100. Like, you gotta be fucked up.
As we're kind of on that topic, so me and my man, we always talk about this, right? Because I drive to work every day, and he takes living in New York City, he takes the bus and the train to work every day. That's two directions that he's taking that in. So he has to buy weekly Metro cards. So we actually did the math, and it turns out that he's paying as much as I pay in a month for gas as he pays for a Metro card. And this was before the hike in gas. So that tells you a lot. Even though some people can't afford a car where you can afford like car payments, insurance, and your gas. And it's just like the same people and people who don't have those means that take the bus and train. It's like they're almost paying what we pay at the end of the month for that gas trip, for that gas to put gas in your car.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not totally unbelievable at all.
No. When I lived in DC and I had to take the train, between train, Uber, and sometimes buses or like car shares, between all that stuff a month, I was paying the same amount I paid in insurance in DC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. It's so expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, nobody's walking around easy.
Especially if you live in these larger commuter cities. Yeah, it's gonna be almost the same as having your gas budget for the month.
Yeah.
So wild.
It is.
Sorry, not to complain about being an adult. Anyways, back on topic. So one thing that, like, especially in the communities that I kind of navigate through with my job and things like that, the thing that irritates me that I need us all as a community to work on is this timing. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I love anyone I've worked with. Like, 9 times out of 10, I have loved working with you. But my Black people, like, y'all in this timing thing, we gotta do better. Like, this is fucking ridiculous.
I'm with you.
Like, I'm not even saying like, oh, I'm all high and mighty on the Black scale. No, I'm not. I'm really not. I ain't doing shit. But I respect other people's time.
Mm-hmm.
And I make schedules. Kishana, what are you doing?
What?
Sound like you making granitas.
Oh, I didn't even know you could hear that. I was mad far away from the damn mic.
Are you eating
these mic?
No, I was trying to light this candle. I was mad far away. How did you... Fucking mic.
Oh my God.
Anyway, my bad.
God, making an igloo over there or something.
What are you doing? Is she getting jelly out of a jar?
No, I was trying to light this candle with this lighter, but the candle's kind of low. So struggling.
But yeah, I can't even tell you like the horror stories of just people coming literally hours late and then looking at you like you stupid for expecting them to be on time.
Yeah.
Even if you budget on your invitations and shit like that people motherfuckers gonna be late.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally started at parties like an hour and a half late.
Oh God,
that's crazy.
That's
like,
unacceptable.
And then shocked when I have to charge you more. Like, bitch, I have people who depend on me to feed them. You expect me not to get more money for them?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Your people need money too. I'm sorry, my staff relies on this job. I need to get overtime fees. No. So I need us to do better, just out of respect for each other. Out of respect for each other, I'm just gonna stick with that. We need to do better because this shit's crazy.
Oh God, CP time is not an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fashionably late, because that's not even an excuse either. Being fashionably late, you're never fashionable like that. But no, I have no time for it. If you're 15 minutes late, that's fine, but that's my cap, to be quite honest.
Yeah. And there has to be a good reason.
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Like if you're late because your babysitter was late, all right, I get that. That's fine. Yeah. Or if you're late because there was just traffic, that makes sense. But if you say that time, every single time you're late, which is every single time I see you, this no longer an excuse. You should start planning for that traffic time, because this is now the 5th time I've seen you and you late because of traffic.
Yeah.
Like, that's the shit I'm talking about. Like the inexcusable latenesses. And the tardy and the changing your expectations just because you decided, oh, I'm gonna stay longer. First of all, bitch, you don't own this, bitch.
Nah.
But, that's just me and my bougie things that irritate the fuck out of me.
No, it's not bougie.
It's not. It honestly isn't. It's a matter of respect, because it's like you said, there's staff there who don't make a certain amount of money that they would love to make. So it's just like they need that money as well. So it's like you have to respect people's time, because like you said, they have mouths to feed as well. It's not just about them and their day. There's people there that's there organizing and making sure that day is good enough for them, whether they think it's perfect or not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. One thing I wanted to bring up, since we were doing this topic, is the Black people. We need to stop being okay with struggle love. We really need to. Because it breaks my heart. It also irritates me that we are forced to settle for less. And I think this is mainly pertaining to Black women. It really is. Because there's no reason why we should be over here diminishing our standards for way less than what we deserve. There absolutely isn't. And I understand that we have been conditioned for generations to stick beside him throughout all his infidelity, through all the abuse, through all the manipulations, through all the heartbreaks, the tears, everything. But that is not okay. That is not love. That is abuse. And I wish more people would talk about it. I mean, nowadays there's more conversations behind it, but there's absolutely no reason why any woman on the face of this planet should be accepting way less than they deserve.
That's true. That's a word. Thanks, Tyler Perry.
Thanks to all the generational bullshit that's been fed to us by our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, our great-grands. Just because our grandparents went through struggle love and they were together for 85 years of struggling, whether it was grandpa having like 10 kids outside of that home, your mother never being married to the man that she's been laying in that same bed with for the last 20 years. I don't care what it is.
At this point, there's too many examples and resources out there of couples who talk and do the walk of how to have a true, genuine relationship. And don't get me wrong, no couple is perfect. And no couple has just always ups and no downs, because that's fucking false. And anyone who thinks so is stupid. Sorry. But there's just too many examples out there of how you should be feeling and how you should feel in your energy, and like the people surrounding you, of how they should be making you feel. Happiness is a choice.
Right. And no, don't get us wrong. We're not saying that relationships don't have struggles. But when the whole entire relationship is based off of nothing but struggles,
fights,
and just
trauma
bonding and all that stuff like that, there's absolutely no reason why that should be acceptable. There isn't. And I am a person, and I feel like we all three of us are people who believe that you can find love wherever you feel comfortable. And I'm a person who believes that if you need to step outside to find that, you step outside and find that. Because if you see a pattern of abuse or a pattern of struggle just continually perpetuating in your dating life, maybe you need to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to see a new face.
Maybe you need to step back and just see your face for a while.
Right.
Right.
Be single.
Because that shit,
Right.
It sucks, but it teaches you some things.
Right. And struggling shouldn't be that rush you feel in a relationship. Struggling shouldn't make you feel connected to that person. Because it's crazy that you're telling me that I see examples that people step outside their relationships and that's what bonds you to that person because they step out and now you have no trust, and having that no trust is what bonds you to that person. Like, what the fuck is that?
Toxic.
Like, that stuff like that makes absolutely no sense to me. Like,
mm-hmm.
that shit is traumatizing even from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
There is no reason why I need to be in a relationship with someone that I have absolutely no trust for, that I have disdain for.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm always wondering if he's out, if when he's not with me, if he's out doing something else with somebody else. That is not okay.
Or vice versa, because women out here cheating too.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But at the same time, those men are willing to drop them bitches in a second.
Not all of them. I've met some very passive, submissive guys who will stay in relationships as long as physically possible.
Well, my sermon is
until they're just fucking depressed.
Well, my sermon is mainly for women because I see a lot of Black women that go through this way more.
I know, it's a Libra in me. I just had to say it.
Yeah. I get it.
I think I have other stuff on here, but I won't run this too long. But at least on my end, I think for the Black community, we need to, yes, being Black is wonderful and great, and we should have our own culture. 1,000%. I love that I have a sense of culture from multiple different avenues, but as Black people, we don't need to be surrounded just by Black culture all the time.
Ooh,
we need to surround ourselves with other cultures and traditions, because outside of the fact that it exposes you to what other people do and what their traditions are and what their levels of respect are, and also what other ways of celebration there is out there. It teaches you also like some form of like etiquette. Like there's a time and a place for everything, because all cultures have there's at least one auntie or grandma said that there's a time and a place for everything. You do not need to do X, Y, and Z, L, M, P at this very moment. This was not appropriate.
Yes.
And exposing yourself to other cultures teaches you that, because you have to respect their culture. It's not yours. You cannot come into someone else's home or place of celebration and disrespect them.
Yeah, it also teaches you like a sense of adaptability.
Yeah.
It shows you how to like camouflage yourself in society a little bit more.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, I love that.
Like we said,
like... Go ahead,
Kelly. No, I was just gonna say that it like we said before in previous episodes. I mean, we had a whole episode about code switching. It teaches you how to gracefully navigate how to code switch, when to code switch, and why you should code switch at the same time.
Yep. I was just gonna say, when y'all grew up in elementary school, did you have a lot of cultural representational type of parties? Like, did you do Kwanzaa, Dia de los Muertos? I mean, there's so many different cultural traditions and stuff. But I know at my elementary school, we definitely did a lot of that. And to see every type of kid just be so engulfed in that, I think it was, looking back, it was such a magical type of experience that I don't think kids do anymore. I don't think the school system even wants that to be in the curriculum, because it's just like, you need to take this away, you need to take that away. You're bringing something that doesn't need to be in school anymore. I mean, we're dealing with the whole thing with the critical race theory teachings and people getting rid of Virginia books. Yeah. But when it comes to the culture and adapting to all of that, we just need more of that. The way that the kids are coming up now, they're just so washed out. They have no sense of adaptability, like you were saying. And it's just only going to put them back further, unfortunately.
I mean, for me and Melissa, I think our experience growing up in New York and going to school in the boroughs
had nothing to do with school.
Yeah, because we were exposed to so many different races of people and cultures, especially. So, at least for me in high school, I went to a very culturally diverse high school. So, those things was normal for us, whether it was like celebrating Diwali, like, just knowing that Diwali is celebrated this time of the year, knowing that, hey, this is a Jewish holiday, this is going to happen, all that stuff like that. So, my high school especially was very diverse in that way. Like, I had friends from like almost every race every ethnicity and culture that there was. So for me, like, I had one of my best friends, one of my best friends still to this day, like, she invites me over to celebrate Diwali with her family and stuff like that. So that's stuff that I'm used to.
Yeah.
And especially coming from a country which is very heavily populated with Hindu being the religion, like, that's stuff that I'm very familiar with. So I've been to like 3 Hindu weddings throughout my life. I've been to Hispanic quinceañeras and Hispanic weddings and Black weddings, all those things. So it's like, for me, I have that diversity when it comes to that part. And I am like literally proud of that, because it's like, it gives you a sense of like self as well, where it's like you find a beauty within every culture. And even with my boyfriend now, like I said before, like, he's Polish, so he has his own culture, his own traditions and stuff like that. And I have to now incorporate myself into that, because that's very important for him, and vice versa. So we're very intertwined within what we practice culturally, or what is cultural to us. And I think that's a beautiful thing that a lot of Black people feel like they don't have to do, because I'm Black and I'm the most culturally divested person. And it's like that's kind of missing the point.
Yes.
The point isn't not to be proud of who you are, where you come from, or whatever culture you have. It's about also embracing other people's and learning how to like navigate that as well. And I think that's the bigger picture that a lot of very prideful pro-Black people miss. No one's telling you not to be prideful about who you are. It's about also accepting people for who they are as well.
And respecting that. Because that's the part that I don't like, that I've been seeing.
That the respect isn't there.
That the respect isn't there. Like, just because you're not involved in it, or you don't understand it, does not mean you need to disrespect someone.
Right.
Yeah, like,
so
it's like
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say quickly, like, it's like you can't demand respect from other people without giving that respect back in return, because like my parents have always told me growing up, respect is earned. It is not just given. And you can't expect people just to give you that respect without giving it back in return, because that is disgusting. And that's the reason why a lot of Black Americans feud with Black people from other countries. It's because you can't sit here and disrespect someone's whole entire culture just because you think yours is superior because you're in America. Like, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
And don't get it absolute twisted. Bullshit. I like cracking jokes as much as the next bitch. But as I am being introduced to someone and their friends and their community and their family, that is not the time. I keep my jokes to myself. I'll laugh about them. And I'm going to keep it moving. But I'm not going to disrespect someone in their community that they're bringing me into.
Yeah.
Because they felt comfortable enough to bring me into it.
It's sacred.
And that teaches you a lot. Like, like for me, like I get excited about holidays that most people don't get excited about. I live in Virginia. They get fucking buck wild over St. Patty's Day. I don't give a flying fuck about St. Patty's Day.
We had a whole feast at work for St. Patrick's Day.
I know what happened, but that's not what happened. All these motherfuckers just wear green and then just look at you like you're crazy because you don't have green on. Oh well. Anyways, somebody actually threatened to pinch me and I threatened to punch them, so that was the end of the conversation. But that is not because I was never introduced to anyone who truly celebrated whatever the real purpose of St. Patty's Day is supposed to be. The only people I've ever been introduced to who like it are the people who like to drink. I'm not drinking with you. So I'm not going to disrespect this holiday for you, but it's not for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But going to seeing my friends having their weddings and other celebrations and involving their cultures and bringing that in, like that stuff is amazing to me because if you're blending families in any form of fashion, same religion or different or culture or otherwise, if you're embracing them with each other, like that's a bond because you need to understand that that's important to them. Like seeing Nick Jonas and Priyanka.
Oh God, they're so beautiful,
freaking adorable. Like seeing him celebrate Dolly with her, like come on, like
just having and just for the fact that they had like a traditional Indian wedding plus, and then incorporated that Christian side of it into it. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, you need to, and I'm just like, because some people are very proud of where they come from and who they are culturally, so it's just like you said, that respect should be there. It has to be there.
So that's something I wish for the Black community. Like don't get me wrong, it is scary meeting people from other communities, and not because of a racial thing, just because of you don't know what their expectations are.
Yeah.
That's like we joke on here about like when we've met other people from other races who are attracted to us. Like I never knew how to react. I still don't. I didn't know my boyfriend thought I was cute until he hit me up. And I was like, did you mean to hit me up? Like, I'm sorry.
Either. I thought this was a joke.
I thought you were out here just being, hey, how's it going?
I thought I was being scammed.
Homie was trying to smash and I picked up on none of those clues.
Right.
But here we are. But at the end of the day, like, if you don't start embracing other people in culture, like, you're going to be terrified to go in those rooms because no matter what place you're at in this world, if you have aspirations to be higher than where you are, those people are going to be there.
Yeah.
And if they don't feel comfortable around you, it will make your time in that avenue so unwelcoming. And you're going to feel like the outlaw. And that's going to make tension. And that just adds to more bullshit that you don't need in your goddamn life.
Right. Because sometimes those people come with their own privileges that you can use to your benefit, and it doesn't have to be in a malicious way either. It doesn't have to be.
Like if I'm hanging out with the culture that they don't like let women pay for shit. But also, if my boyfriend family actually celebrated St. Patty's Day, this is just an example, they do not. I would hope they would teach me of why they gave a fuck so much, because his family is nowhere near from Ireland,
right?
So I would be very shocked and confused, but I would want to know why, and that way I won't disrespect it. But if it's just a joke for them, a reason for them to drink, I'm gonna make mad jokes at their expense,
right?
But also we go drink. If that's what they want to do. But yeah, that's just one thing I just hope for us, that we could just get involved a little more.
Yeah.
All for us bringing BET back and all that great shit. But but
that
also
stay in the dumpster fire.
Going to an Indian wedding is lit.
You fucking lit.
So you can talk all that shit about going to the club in Miami, but at the end of the day, if you've never been to an Indian wedding, you ain't living.
No, you need to experience that.
So just putting that out there, like we have things that we can keep improving on, y'all. Sorry for the sniffle and the allergies in this good old Richmond.
It's all right. I think we're all there.
Over this shit. Anyways, do y'all have anything last points on this one?
No, I think that was a good little rant.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, if y'all want us to talk about this more, please let us know because I have more notes that we can work on as a group.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you know, time is limited, so
Yes, we're not trying to eat up your whole entire day. So we wanted to do, instead of a social media moment, we want to do letters.
yay! Tea-chat things. Tea-chat things.
Tea-chat things. Yes.
though.
So, as a reminder, Kishana nor I have heard these letters before. We are listening to it the first time with you because y'all are our homies.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Kelly.
Yeah.
Commence.
I can't with you.
Spirit fingers. Let's go.
Oh my god. Oh man. Okay. Here we go. Hey Mel, Kel, and Kay. This may be a weird and self-explanatory question, but here it goes. I've been on the pill for 3 years now and it's getting expensive. I think my boyfriend should share the cost, but I'm not really sure how to bring this up without coming off odd and needy. Us girls already deal with so much when it comes to our bodies. So I figured since all they do is shoot and point when it comes to sex, what about asking him to help with preventative measures? We do not need a baby in our lives right now, and I refuse to take an unprotected chance if possible. Signed, Pink Tax is real.
First of all, sis, major respect on this whole letter.
Yes.
Yep.
Major respect.
Yes.
I'm gonna let y'all go first before I say what I want to say.
Oh god.
Okay. I guess as being women who are also in relationships and who have also explored our options with birth control, if you have insurance and your insurance is no longer paying for that and it is getting expensive, I feel like that is a conversation that you should have with each other and to work out those kinks where they are. I mean, there's other birth control methods. You can also use condoms. I understand that they're not 100% effective every time, but they're still there.
Also, there are alternative options as far as getting birth control that are free to you. You just have to do a little bit of research.
Yes, there is community clinics that would give you birth control for free or at a very low cost. There's also GoodRx. GoodRx works. It works. I've used GoodRx a few times for prescriptions that I've needed, and they do work. Pharmacies 100% honors them, and there's really good pharmacists out there that would even recommend them for you at the register. So I think that is a viable option. But I think if that's the route that you want to go, having him help you pay for the cost, and both of you have agreed that this is not the time for a child,
do it.
I feel like that is a conversation that you need to have together. It is. Because in my own experience, wanting to come off birth control because of the fact that I didn't like the way it has continuously affected my body, that was a conversation that me and my man had needed to have and found our alternative for birth control. So this seems like I said, a conversation that you two need to have. And if you feel like his reaction to it is not going to be the best, because I understand that there's men out there that
were pussy ass bitches.
Yeah, and I understand that there's dudes out there that prefer just to go in there raw with no condom and all stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there is absolutely no difference, at least to me. I don't think there's a difference, especially if you're getting good condoms.
I don't even care, honestly.
Don't do it, sis.
Sex is sex. It's like...
I don't care about if they feel a difference. I mean, they shouldn't.
Right, and
that's a little weird.
Yeah, and if you're worried about your pleasure, that's your man's job to worry about your pleasure, not yours. Because we don't got issues in that department. He does what he needs to do. So,
yeah, I just need, once again, mucho high respect for this letter because yes, taking autonomy. But if yeah, if y'all are not ready to have a baby, then to me, relationships are supposed to be a partnership.
Yes.
We're supposed to be splitting things as much down the middle as possible. And when it comes to things like finances that affect both of us, aka your birth control and your child preventative methods, yeah, he should be involved in that. Because I've dealt with the same thing Keyshawn has dealt with, and I've had that conversation with my boyfriend. I was just like, well, I ain't ready for a kid, but also this birth control is murdering me. So what we finna do? What are we comfortable doing? Because I'm down for whatever that prevents us from having a kid, but I can still get my freak on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I agree with Melissa because of the fact that as me being somebody who's in a long-term relationship and now off birth control for the past almost over a year at this point, and it's like we have taken the steps to prevent those things, even not on birth control. And people think that birth control is the only solution, but there's way more than that. I track when we've had sex, like all that stuff like that. And I know when I'm supposed to get my period monthly, and I know what weeks I'm ovulating, all the stuff like that. So if you know that you can't afford it at that point, like you have to take the extra steps and extra precautions of monitoring things at this point. So, one day you don't wake up and you're just like, oh shit, or you piss on a stick and you're like, oh shit, how did this happen?
Well, funny story about that.
Funny story what?
When she pees on a stick and it's not the result she's looking for, I wonder how that happened. Because they both did the Buffalo Daisy and did the thing. Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. It's like the autonomy is 100% yours, and it's also 100% his. Like you are both grown people with minds to think for yourselves. So that is also something that you have to think very hard about and very deeply about. Because one, supporting a child ain't easy.
No.
And then two,
I don't want to.
Not right now.
That's
Ever. It. It's like, if you enjoying your life as it is right now, like definitely sit down and have that conversation. And depending on how it goes, will give you your answer. Whether you're going to continue doing it by yourself or...
Yeah, girl. But long story short, yes, he should be paying for it if you cannot find alternative methods to get your birth control to be free 99. Then yes, he should be paying. Please, thank you. It's better than child support and it's better than alimony.
Yes.
It's way cheaper.
Yep.
Did we want to do one more? A short one?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
This one's a bit, I got a little angry about this.
Oh. I feel it.
I had an ex tell me I look stupid wearing lingerie and that there's no reason for it since it's going to come off anyway. For the longest time, it made me feel ashamed and uncomfortable about my body and how I viewed myself naked. I've gotten better about body positivity when it comes to myself over the past year, but it, of course, still lingers in my mind. Signed, Sexually Dysmorphic Ex.
First, second, and third of all, fuck him.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
He's your ex for a reason.
He can kick rocks with no socks. I get what he was trying to say, but he did not have to say it that way.
It came off completely wrong.
He did not think about that statement before.
That is not right.
He probably meant no harm behind it, but unfortunately,
the delivery was trash.
A lot of men don't think, because they think that we receive things the same way they receive things.
Like, all he would have had to say is, you know what, baby? I want to see all of you. I don't want to see you covered up. I want to see you as you. Maybe give her a robe. Then she could just open that thing up. but you ain't gotta be like, why the fuck you buying lingerie? You look dumb. First of all, motherfucker, it's for you.
Or he could have simply says like, hey honey, like babe, like lingerie doesn't excite me. Like you don't have to wear that for me.
Right. Preferences, like we talked about before. Everybody has a preference.
Also says, as I said in my last recommendation, keep it a buck with yourself, okay? Like right now, I'm sitting in my sports bra and my sweatpants, belly out. And you know what? We perfectly content over here because I've forced myself to be blunt and be like, this is my body. This is what it is. She's not going nowhere. And I'm too lazy to make her go nowhere anyways. So, just fuck him and love all of you. All of it. Every ounce.
And then 2, like we stated for the previous letter, conversations.
Yeah.
About how not to get knocked the fuck out.
Or just conversations about likes and dislikes. Because sometimes we just assume that someone's going to like it because that's the stereotypical guy thing, that they love women in lingerie. And there's a lot of men out there who don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
So those are conversations that need to be had. And I understand that we've been fed too much by TV and media that men like this, but not all men like those things.
That was paid for by Victoria's Secrets, and look at them now.
And every rom-com out there. So it's just, yeah.
I've never had a man ask me to wear lingerie before.
Yeah, so before you
Nor did he care.
Right. So before you even put on lingerie for a man, make sure that's a conversation that you have to say like, hey, how do you feel about girls who wear lingerie?
But don't get it twisted. If you're wearing lingerie for you, lingerie for you, because it makes you feel sexy, tell him to shut the fuck up and enjoy the present and then take the wrapping off. Like, get over it.
It's called foreplay for a reason.
Yeah, take your time. We got time.
Yeah. And also know if that person that you're with is even into foreplay, because there's a lot of people who aren't. They just want to get straight to the business.
Not I.
I like foreplay.
Need it. Requirement.
I mean, there's days when I just want to skip it, but other than that, but that's a whole different story.
2-step into my foreplay, actually.
2-step. Weak.
For me, there's just sometimes when the foreplay's already been done before there's even foreplay, and I just want to get straight into it. So it's
live your life, Sif. But me over here, I need that every time. Thank you so much, Lord. All right,
That's
y'all.
all I have today.
Well, let's go ahead and get into the second topic. So, while we just talked about some of the faults and insecurities in the Black community, I wanted us ladies to talk about our own, because accountability, y'all.
Oof.
So, yeah. We don't have to get too deep. We'll get a little deep for y'all just so we know you love us. But TBD on that. So, when did you start to realize what your faults were? And how did you feel?
I think I started seeing my faults completely in full view after college. So like I was 23, maybe. Going through just the process of life and not having really that schedule of waking up, you're going to a class, you have those classes for a few hours and then going home, then you got to study, do your homework, all that kind of stuff and repeat. But once you get out into like the real adult world, you really have to do your own time management and deal with the punches of whatever life throws at you. And after so long, and when you get older and you get close to your 30s, which I just cannot believe that we're that close to 30 now.
I know. It hurts.
It's scary.
It hurts.
It's almost like you just start seeing yourself without any type of rose-colored glasses. And it is daunting to see. And I've had to deal with the fact that, I think we talked about it offline before, how I've really been struggling with this whole being hyper independent. Just being so independent that I don't want the help. I don't need the help when I really do. But it's something where I've always said before, I have this male ego in a woman's body. Like I just feel like I need to do it myself. I want to do it myself. I want to get that satisfaction from me having done it from start to finish without anybody else's hand in it. And that is a big fault of mine. That is not, it really hasn't treated me well, obviously. But I am, at least the thing that for me, I have recognized what the issue is. And I think for a lot of people, when you don't recognize and you don't know what the issue is with yourself and what you need to change, that's where a lot of people get pushed back. And so a big thing, what I would tell anybody going into their 30s or they're in their mid 20s is just start being more mindful of who you are and what you're giving off and what that may turn into for somebody else and what they may perceive it as. So just take accountability for what you are putting out there.
Well, it also, like, seeing you over the years, like, I feel like attached to that because you're so, and I'm gonna toot all of your horns right now, because you're so amazing.
Oh, geez.
And you get things done. I mean, you do, though. Like, and it, not saying it didn't come with sacrifices or pain or any of that stuff, but like, you are an amazing person who gets a lot of shit done. So for you to ask for help is, like, I can only imagine, is a very, very hard thing.
Yeah.
And I know from my own experience of not liking to ask for help, like, it was probably culinary school where, like, I've had a chef be like, listen, you're good, but it's okay to need help.
Mm-hmm.
And then be like, this is, like, perfect example. I remember one time in culinary school, I burnt the carrots.
Oh, no.
And it's not because it's because I was juggling multiple things, and I wasn't asking for help. So yes, my entree turned out well, but my sides paid the price. Now we don't have our sides because I refused to ask for help.
Yeah.
And seeing examples like that of how it affects others is the moment where I'm like, all right, what is actually things that I need to get done, and what are things that can actually be passed off?
Yeah.
But it's still a struggle. Don't get it twisted. Like, I try to be a dude all bad bitch, but sometimes I'm just like, this bitch is tired.
Yeah. How about y'all?
Ooh.
I think one of my biggest ones is along the same lines. Like, I do, like, in the past, like, I've had a huge fear of, like, relying on other people, even if it's for, like, the smallest things, because I've always felt like the times that I have relied on people, I have felt disappointment out of it.
Yes.
So I ended up just becoming a person where it's just like, I'll just do it myself. If I need it to be done, I'll just do it myself. And it's not even to say that, I don't have reliable people in my life. It's just the fact that I don't want to throw that burden onto other people. Like, that burden is my burden alone to bear. But in retrospect of that, when it comes to other people, I'm there for them to rely on.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from the fact that I've been doing whatever I needed to do for myself. And then now if somebody asks me to do something, like, I'm 100% there to do it for you. But I won't ask you in return.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and I think that's been one of my biggest character flaws for such a long time. And it comes from that craving of my own independence. And the biggest thing that broke me out of that is the relationship that I'm in now. Where it's like, I can't be Miss Independent and do whatever I want to do on my own terms whenever I want to do it. Because I went into a relationship thinking that I can still maintain that. And it's like, no, you can't maintain that. Because at the end of it, the other person suffers from that. Because it gives them a sense of, like, then why am I here? Then what am I here for?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I think kind of literally stemming off of that, an insecurity / fault I'm noticing now recently at this age is that being single for as long as I was and then getting into a relationship was a very hard transition.
It was a hard transition for me too.
like letting someone in and letting myself be vulnerable for them, but also making him feel needed, because I'm used to only needing myself and only needing the things I do, and knowing how I like them done. Having to rely on someone else has been a very interesting transition.
It's not the fact that it's hard. It's not a hard transition at all.
No, it's just it's a definitely a different mindset you have to have.
Yeah.
And it's like it ties into like relationship things where you're like having to really pick your battles. Because having to rely on him to do like cooking and cleaning and stuff like that, it's changing my mindset of how I think about what he does. So like if he cooks dinner or something and it's not exactly how I would do it, if it's not important for him to know as a fact of how to grow as a person, sometimes I just don't need to say something.
Yeah.
But if he don't put salt on it, he needs to know he didn't put salt on it. I'm not going to sit here and act stupid. But if he just seasoned it a different way, then what the fuck does it matter? I didn't have to make it. I can shut the fuck up and chill.
Yep.
As long as it's not raw, I think you're good to
go. No. Girl, I bought us a cooking thermometer, and it's been a game changer for him. He's just like, yes, I know the exact temperature this is supposed to be. And he's just like, oh no, babe, it's not a temperature. And I'll be like, all right, well, at this point, you could just turn the stove off and let it finish cooking. Yeah. You don't need to keep cooking it. Like, it's perfectly fine. Anyways, yeah, that's definitely something I've had to like check myself often and be like, all right, bitch, stop. You don't need to say that to him. It doesn't help the situation. It doesn't change the end result. And there's nothing to teach him as far as what he could have done different, because it didn't make a difference. It still got the same result.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Shit like that, man.
Yes, ma'am.
So speaking of things like that, a fault that I've definitely seen from myself is that I hold myself at a lower expectation than I hold others.
Oh, wow.
So like if I'm sitting at a coffee shop looking at people, like I'll be judging everybody. I'll be like, oh, she should have done this better. That outfit's all wrong. Why he did his haircut like that? I don't like that. Why is his head so small?
It's like people watching.
The people watching at his finest. I am a bitch. But I say these internally. I don't say it outwardly. So I'm not out here ruining people's days. Like, just to clarify. But then I come home and I sit on the couch. Even though now I have more time on my hands, I'm not working out like I should be. I've worked out more now that I have time on my hand. But it's not as much as I should be. Because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling flabby today. Well, I have no one to blame that on but myself.
Yeah.
When I ate mad bread and ate this and drank that and did all these things and didn't exercise at the end of the day, make myself feel better, then who's to blame? Me. So like being in a relationship, I have to check myself on that too, to be like, I can't scold him for leaving the pile of clothes on his side of the bed when I got a pile of clothes on my dresser. Like, that's not fair. He don't deserve that shit.
That's true. I'd probably say pretty much the same thing also. It's like, I have a very, very high standard and I expect a lot out of myself, and I just don't expect a lot from other people. And it's kind of like what Kashana said, is like,
that's how I am too.
I just am so disappointed by everybody that just give me everything and I'll do it myself, because I know it's going to get done. It may stress me the hell out, but at least I know I'm going to get it done. It's going to be right on time. It's going to be early. It ain't even going to be on time. It's going to be early. And I've been too disappointed by other people that I just want to save myself that headache and that stress, that I just rather do it myself. And I know that's a big fault, but at the same time, when it comes to certain things, I'm gonna just take that load and deal with it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. But also having that similar mindset, I've had to, with backing off and delegating things, I've had to be like, I did what I was supposed to do. I gave them the proper information. I gave them this. I gave them that. I showed them how it should be done. Like I did all the due diligence I could.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to let that motherfucker fail.
Well, and that is true because there are some instances where, like how in a job they'll say, can you work as a team? Are you a good team player? All that kind of shit. Well, yes, of course I'm a great team player. But at the same time, it is like how you're saying,
it depends on the team I'm playing on.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me.
Because if they're not team players,
I'm not going to be one
doing
either.
the job.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure my part is done.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And if I do have to delegate other people to do stuff, I am that type of person. I think all three of us are. Is I will write out every little detail to the point where I don't want you to come to me and have any questions. I have already asked the questions. I've already answered your questions that you don't even know that you have questions too. So
but they still will ask questions.
Oh, they will. But at the same time, you don't have a question. You just haven't read thoroughly because I have given you all the damn answers. So that is what it is with me.
It's like you just decided to skim through.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read the BO? Did you read the BO? No? Mm-mm. Come back to me when you read it.
Right.
I spent a lot of time typing it for you.
Mm-hmm.
I even typed out the duties for everyone.
Yeah.
And who's doing what when. No, bitch, don't ask me no questions.
Mm-hmm. It's hard copy. It's printed on computer ink.
We even had a meeting. We discussed it.
Yep.
I even have a map for you. At that point, I'm letting you fail, dog. Mm-hmm. As long as it's not at my expense, I'm going to let you fail. Because I've done everything I was supposed to do. And not to say I followed procedure, but I followed fucking procedure, and I don't give a fuck no more. Well, I think kind of opposite of what you just mentioned. Like for me, when like I've mentioned, when I get stressed out, I just shut down, and I very much regress into myself, where I just don't have nothing to say. I'm stuck. I have nothing to give or to say to anyone. I don't got it.
Yeah.
And that has been a fault of mine that I've been working on, but it's so hard. Because it's kind of like it's, not to be this dramatic, but it kind of feels like a seasonal depression where you just get that fog of just like, I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm fucking tired. I don't. So then you're having a battle between yourself and your thoughts, and you're like, I'm good. I'm super good off this.
It's like another form of burnout.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like my partner loves to hear about my day. He asks me about it all the time throughout the day. When I see him, like, and when I get like that, I don't want to talk. I just like, oh, it's okay. And he's like, nothing happened today. Meh. Somebody did some dumb shit. Somebody pissed me off. And I came home.
It's like a teenager coming in the car line.
Yes. Exactly.
What'd you learn at school, honey? Nothing.
And I'm going to regret this very moment when I have my own teenager. I'm going to be like, this motherfucker here. All right. But yeah, it's a battle.
It is.
Because all these self-identification shit is great, but at the end of the day, it does take a lot of emotional stamina to be like, this is what I did wrong. How could I fix this if there's something that needs to be fixed? And if it needs to be fixed, how could I do better in the future?
Yeah.
But you have to want to do better in the future.
You're always a work in progress.
Yes. All right. Well, yeah, ladies, have anything else that you want to touch on?
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, nice little therapeutic episode today. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this sucker up with our weekly recommendation. So, for those of you who don't know, this could be music, movies, advice, anything that we think will help improve your life, week, or whatever. Ladies, who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Yay.
Okie dokie. So, I may have said this last year or a couple seasons ago, but I'm going to say it again because it's real and you need to do it. We're all grown adults here. So we're going into severe weather season. We're going into gone missing season, and we're going into negligent season.
Oh, wow.
And that is the summer months of April to about August. And I want everybody to make hard copies, scan them, file them, document them away, and put them in a lockbox of all important, your driver's license, all your tax documents, take pictures of your cars, the inside and outside of your cars, have your registration, all everything that you can imagine that is yourself and your person. Make duplicate copies of it and put it in a very safe place, because weather is a serious issue. Global warming is serious. And I know that apparently, according to the Farmer's Almanac, the weather for this severe weather season is going to be pretty off the chain. There's going to be tornadoes, hurricanes are going off the handles. And I don't want anybody, including myself and these girls here, to be in any circumstance that you could just lose certain documentation because you haven't taken those necessary precautions to duplicate them. Like I'm in the process of moving currently. And I'm so glad that I have a full binder of just everything that I have pre-scanned from a couple years ago in the recent year. And if anything were to happen, if you had a fire at your house, if you had a storm roll through and it was a flood and something went missing, you do have a certain binder or a book that you have stationed in your car or under your bed or your closet or whatever the case is, and it has everything there. So I would definitely recommend you all do that, and it'll save you some grief and some time in the process.
I actually have something like that. That's so funny that you say that.
Oh, nice.
I have like a plastic like container that just like have all my important documents inside of it. Yeah. So they're all in one place, just ready to grab and go. Like whatever I need, I know it's exactly inside of there, whether it's a birth certificate, social security card, passport, friggin'. I have documents from when I opened my first bank account in there. Don't know why. My high school diploma is in there. Everything is in there. Anything that I need to any important information I just need is already in that tub, secured, ready to go. I know where it's all at. Peace of mind.
And make sure you have another piece of shoes, a good week's clothing, and then also $600 in cash. Yep.
Cool. Wonderful. Shauna, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So as the climate of the world is changing, and by climate I mean we're maybe on the brink of a war.
We are.
Famine is increasing. Food supplies prices are increasing. Our everyday necessities are going up. They're not going down. COVID's coming back. At this point, I feel like we need to start being more smarter about our finances. At this point, it is no more spending if you got it. It's about saving as much money as you possibly can. And at this point, I advise people to start saving money, cash money on hand. If you can, if there's some way for you to at least take something out of your savings in your bank savings and put them aside in actual cash, intangible money, do so, because you never know. I mean, there's already been a period in time where banks crashed and people had no access to their money that was in the banks and they were all gone. And I feel like those are lessons that we do need to learn from and to do better going forward. Because over the years, me and my boyfriend have been saving our own cash, tangible money on the side, and also what we have in our bank accounts. So at this point, I feel like we need to manage our monies a little bit better, especially because it doesn't seem like anything is going to get better anytime soon. And we should just not rely on just hoping for the best.
Yeah, no.
And buy some perishable food items in your homes just in case. Non-perishable food items, my bad. Like get canned goods if you need some canned goods.
Always have a can of beans.
Yep.
Get some tuna. I know everybody don't like tuna. Something.
Listen, I always have
Oh,
tuna in my
tuna's
house.
great.
Something.
I see that stuff for PB&J.
Mm-hmm.
Always on stock.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Well, look at us telling people what to do with their future, because that's what mine is about.
No. We're the Apocalypse Podcast.
Out here giving advice and shit. Yeah, I want y'all to start planning for your future. Like, what are your next big steps? Like, not even explicitly like a 5-10 year plan, but just like, what do you hope to accomplish in the next 10 years as you're becoming more of an adult? Which I know sucks, but we got to do this or we're just going to fall further and further behind the ball. And shit's getting worse out here. So we got to start planning things and being as adaptable as possible, because we have to prepare for ourselves. So, like, I want to buy a house. I'm out here every little bit I can put in my savings account. I am not saying I don't go out to eat and try to buy a top every once in a while, but put what you can away. Like, not every bag needs to be bought. Not every pair of shoes needs to be worn. Like, it's okay. And sometimes it's okay to say no if you over your budget, because we got a budget out here. So start planning your future big next steps. Talk to some real life professionals who are involved in that. So whether it's a house, starting a business, like, talk to people who are engrossed in these areas, that know what they're talking about, are professionals at what they do, and talk to them about realistic expectations. And then start budgeting.
There we go.
Go ahead, y'all. And to those who've been doing that for years, shout out to y'all, because I'm not. I'm trying out here. Well, anything else, ladies?
No, I think we're good.
Yep.
Look at us. Love it. Well, thank y'all for listening. We really appreciate it. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section or DMs, whatever. You have plenty of ways to reach us if you want to chat. Please also send in your letters, because while we are at the end of this season, I am happy to be nosy on the off season.
Yeah.
Just put it out there. But that is all the time we have for today. So you've been listening to High Tea with Mel, Kelly, and Kay. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram at HighT_podcast. And hit us up on Twitter at HighTPod1. And take a peek in the description box for all links for High Tea. We'll talk to you the same time, same place next week. MKK out.